spit raps like a heart attack. Fast fatal thought impact. Past painful thoughts. In fact, I blast tasteful thoughts and past. I back up my actions. Fact, don't ask, grab reactions. Jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused. Call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now. Y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do continue, if I do sound, well, worse for wear, to put it simply, I found out the other day I was sick. And, well, I've been getting worse before I get better, so that's why I sound like this. Now, with that being said, let's go over a review of the last part. In the last part, Deku cut off the supply train that yautja was sending to his planet. The man was very proud of Deku. Deku declared that they will be their own independent clan, instead of just being seen as, well, a branch of his clan. Now, that was something that Deku was, arguably, very proud to do. He felt like this was the right thing. And many humans, they themselves were also a bit concerned, since, oh yeah, without all these other resources the yautja are sending us, what are we going to do? Now, it's been about a week or two since that happened, and we do currently have Deku, who he is standing in front of a large area, and he is talking with somebody about exactly what's going to be going on. As Deku, he is explaining to them about exactly what they need to be doing and what is going to be happening. As he's talking to some newly awakened colonists who do know more about these machines, maintaining them, and how to use them, along with even awakening people who they would know how to identify not only different minerals and materials, but possibly different metals and other things. And Deku, he's very proud as to what they're doing. Now, I don't exactly have the right number for how many people should have quirks, so right now I'm only going to be giving the number of people that are currently on the planet. And let's just say with Deku, his group of people coming to the planet 2 years ago, the people who are already on there and a few colonists who've been awakened, I'd put that number around a steady or even an uneven 600 to possibly 700. Somewhere in between there. Now, this is something that Deku, he is actually very excited for. Since, while everybody they were kind of confused at first upon waking up, Deku, he didn't want to explain to them. Yeah, they're not heading to Mars, a lot of stuff has happened. He'll clue them in whenever they are ready to know. However, for right now, welcome to a planet that's a lot more similar to Earth and won't take as much time to really do anything with. This place is essentially just ready to go, and they can start mining for resources as soon as possible. And the humans who were awakened, they were very confused, since everyone went from speaking this strange language back to what could be defined as their native tongues. And that was something that they were all concerned with, since for a minute, with the way people are dressing like tribal warriors and speaking a strange language, they thought something might have happened. Now, with that being said, we do actually have Deku, who whenever he is leaving, he does get to talk to a few people, expressing to them that they need to leave now, as him and a few people, they do pile into a ship and blast away. As you do over at Deku, him and everyone else, they do arrive onto the larger ship in the atmosphere, or in the upper atmosphere, get onto that, and then Deku, he does start to plot a course for Yautja Prime. And he has at least informed everybody on the planet as to what to do. Maintain their jobs, maintain their roles. And the people who are at least the defenders of the warriors, they need to continue their training and continue to supply meat and other various resources they can. Essentially, protect the homestead. Now, Deku, him, and Aki, they're both currently sitting down in the captain's room. And Aki, she's currently putting in the coordinates for Yautja Prime. And Deku, he is looking to see exactly how long this will take. And that's something that Deku, he is surprised with. Since while the journey to Earth was a few weeks, and the trip back was also a few weeks, so about 4 months, you do have the trip to Yautja Prime, which, in total, would take somewhere over, let's just say, 8 to 9 months. And that is just the trip there, and yeah. That's something that Deku, he's not exactly too keen on. While he is worried about his warriors, he does know that with Captain Brooklyn in charge, she will be able to at least maintain and guide everybody with the right way. And Deku, while he's currently sitting down and talking to Aki, you do have where David does walk onto the bridge and ask a few questions. What's up? Well, Scar, I'm concerned with something. What is it? I've been looking through some records of the yautjas, some that we've been given access to, since they declassified more information. I found something quite odd. Okay, and what would that be? The xenomorph. You know how we thought they were just some creature taken from one planet? Yes. Apparently they've infested 5 worlds. 5? Yes. One is reported as LV-426, if I'm correct. And many other of the ones I've seen, they're actually quite stretched out. I don't know if it was the yautja's faults, or if, well, the engineers may have done it. That is quite a problem. But 5? Jesus. That's insane. Quite. But from what I've been able to look into, LV-426 is their homeworld. It's their natural world? Yes, so they've infested 4 planets in total that are not their natural habitat. Huh. Damn. Indeed. Along with that, well, I've been looking at some of the science the yautja do conduct. They themselves are cautious about using the black goo. They don't really see it as viable to use. However, I would like to collect a sample and study it, if possible. The black goo? You can't be serious, David. Aki going to at least step up and explain to him that that is not a good idea. Deku turned to Aki as she has expressed to David that trying to use the black goo for anything will not work. That stuff breaks down DNA structure. It messes with anything biological it comes into contact with. And if she is correct, he is a synthetic. He is made of organic material, is he not? That would be correct. I am made of a, well, bioorganic substance. But I do not believe that would affect me. David, you would be affected by it. You're, well, essentially a human like us. You're not a machine. But I'm an android. Yes, but you're made of something that isn't metal, correct? That would be correct, yes. So you'd be affected by it. Well, I don't think so. The outer layer of my skin is a certain form of plastic. So you're saying just because your skin's plastic it won't go up your nose, go through your eyes, go through your mouth, go through your ears, or anything else like that? Well, the spores did not affect me. Because the spores, they probably couldn't get into your skin. Now, David, please just drop this. If we pass by a planet and we happen to find something there, maybe. If it's a planet we find of particular interest and it just so happens to have a sample or even just anything there, You can take samples of anything on the planet, alright? Understood. But what exactly will you two be doing? Hmm? What do you mean? Well, if I'm correct, you haven't taken off your biomask in the last week and a half. Why is that? Uh, well, there's a reason for that. What exactly would that be? I'm trying to get used to wearing it a lot more. You know? I'm switching to every other mode to make sure I can catch things properly. Well, that is an interesting idea. Have a good day. David turning and going to walk away. As Deku, he doesn't know if David bought it. As he does go to bring up his hand, pull off his mask, and go to look towards the key. As a key, she does go to look towards Deku, and someone could look away. Her face turning a little green whenever she does see that Deku, he does still have the cuts along his face, for whenever she tried to kiss him with her mandibles. And Deku, he does at least mention how this is going to be a serious problem, since he can't exactly use a medipack or a, well, combat stim to heal this, since they have to report every usage of those things. I understand. I am sorry, Scar. Don't apologize. It was nice, but the mandibles you gotta watch. I understand. So, what do you think we'll be doing next? It's a long journey. Um, well, I mean, there's a lot to do. We can get our warriors tested, get them properly trained up, maybe, and see how things do go. Let's see, we got a crew of about 50 people. And so far, that's the largest this ship has ever had. Now, Deku and Ki, they do start to go through the process. They at least do start to introduce everybody to other forms of combat. And while everybody, they are a bit more skeptical, since, oh yeah, we're about to watch our boss or our clan leader take on about 20 people at the same time. And all of them, they're going to be able to use blunt weapons to attack him. And whenever Deku quickly either tosses people across the room, dislocates a few limbs, or even just throws them just a little too hard, yeah. It proves exactly that not even about a third of them, or more than a third of them, can take him on. And then that actually is a key. People do try to attack her and train with her. However, that is also a problem. Since whenever a lot of people, they do try to fight her, you do have where somebody, they do charge her with a bat. And whenever she does go to bring up her arm to defend, you do actually have where the bat does break directly over her forearm, and she does actually go to reach upwards and go to grab the person by their arm. Her flipping them over, and at least telling them that that weapon is very brittle. And the person, they do go to look at their bats, since it was made of 100% wood. And the replicator on the human ship, yeah, it doesn't really mess or miss anything. If it creates something, it can make it an exact copy. Especially if that's a bat that shouldn't have any way to break the way it just did. Especially with the way that Aki put it. She called it a flimsy piece of wood. However, this thing is sturdy and made of hardwood. And that's not something that they really do want to think about. Since if that isn't hurting, they're not too sure if they can take her on. Now, we also do at least have where things, they do start to change a bit more. As everybody, they do at least go to eat, sleep, mess around with either just some games or even just some things that they do have from human data. AKA movies, well, music, and other things. And that's something that Aki does get interested by, since she does actually hear about a few movies and even some music that does intrigue her. And whenever Deku does at least talk about, oh yeah, this is what this genre is called, this is what this genre is called, this is what this genre is called, Aki does start to somewhat listen to it. Now, she even does go to try and watch some movies. And while the premise of some of them are either stupid, silly, funny, or weird, she does find them to be interesting. since she's never really seen humans do this. They pretend to be somebody else in front of a camera? Yautja, they do hold certain things like this, but they don't pretend to be them, well, each other or other people. They're usually just themselves. Entertainment like this doesn't exist on Yautja Prime. Now, a lot of time would pass, and eventually Aki, she would actually be able to convince Deku to try and get his hair braided once again. As we do have in the mess hall where Deku, he's currently sitting down, and well, yeah. It's not only just painful as fuck, but the fact is he can't complain about it or vocalize his pain, nor can he wince, because if he does, it has to be undone, then started again. And Deku, yeah. Because of how high his pain tolerance is nowadays because of all the shit he's been through, he's got a better idea as to what to do. Since now that he does know a lot more about this, he's able to get through it. As you do have where, whenever it's almost completely done, a lot of people they do walk in. And many of them, they actually are looking at Deku. As you do have where people they were eating lunch and they go to look over at Deku and see that he's just sitting there on the ground, while Ki she's, well, backwards on a chair and braiding his hair. Since she's basically at a cafeteria seat, essentially, I guess that's the best way to describe these things. Anyways, now, with that being said, everybody they at least are asking some questions. As you do actually have where somebody they do remark about how, isn't that uncomfortable? Kinda, yeah. Isn't it painful? I'm not gonna say anything. Why not? 'Cause she'll have to undo these and do them again. Oh. So, don't talk to me right now. I really can't talk. I need to focus on this. That bad, huh? You sure you're not just being a bit of a bitch? Tell you what, how about you try this next? Maybe I'll pass. Yeah, so shut the fuck up. Deku going to say that. As a few other people they do somewhat laugh and go to at least joke to the guy about how maybe he should get them done. And while Aki, she is putting some finishing touches on it, you do actually have where she is going to bring up something in her hand. As whenever she has finished the last dreadlock, you do have where she has to take something and slide it onto one of Deku's dreadlocks and get it to be firmly put in place. As she has expressed that this will signify that Deku is a clan leader. And Deku, whenever he does go to stand up, go to somewhat shake his hair and feel a bit of pain from the roots, he does go to walk over to a reflective surface and look into it. As he does stare at himself and think that, well, this is actually something that he's been meaning to do, he hasn't really wanted to. Granted, they're going to Yautja Prime, and if he just shows up there looking like a normal human, people might not take him seriously. However, if he does this and shows that he's very dedicated to the Yautja ways, maybe they'll at least take him a bit more serious. Along with the fact that he does at least have a dignified or a easy to spot status. And whenever Deku does go to turn around, you do actually where he does walk over and ask Aki what she does think. Him and speaking in Yautja as she's going to bring up her hands and go to flick him on the face. Her flicking his forehead and informing him that he has to be very careful with those. Do not shake them around. Sorry. Deku going to bring up his hand. As everybody they do kind of stare at these two, since they're being a bit too friendly. Deku turning and asking the guy if he'd like to sit down and give it a shot. And the guy, after at least being egged on by a few people, talking about how they need to show him up, he does go to sit down and Aki does go to start the process. However, after a few brief seconds of the braids being started, and the guy barely getting through one, he does go to give up and Aki does have to loosen the braids and take them out. And upon doing that, you do actually have where he does go to bring up his hand and talk about how that's really fucking painful. As the guy does look back at Deku and ask him exactly what has he been on. Nothing. Hell, I think I need some whiskey. I'm starting to get a headache. Yeah, how about I go get you the bottle? Jesus, I don't know how you could deal with. How long did that take you? A while. Now, the guy, he does go to get Deku something to drink. And while everybody, they do eventually go to sit down and play their games, you do actually have where eventually they do arrive at Yautja Prime. And Deku, he and Aki, they're both currently sitting in the captain's room and looking over the planet. As Deku, whenever he is standing there, he does stare down at the large planet that looks completely foreign to him. And Aki, she is staring at it too, as she is reminiscing about how she's seen pictures of it before. However, she can't remember the last time she's seen anything about its surface. Deku and her both standing by a window, or a viewing port. As you do actually have where Aki, she does go to bring up her hand and go to grab Deku's. As Deku, when he does go to turn, he does go to at least go to squeeze on Aki's hand. Him expressing that, trust him. This is all weird too, since he himself isn't particularly happy that he's going to be going down there, since he might as well be walking into a lion's den. And as Deku and her are both staying there, you do actually have where somebody, they at least do go to send a broadcast directly to the ship. And Deku and Aki, they do both get the alert on the ship's systems. Now, they actually are able to fix the problem, since whenever at least they do go to pull up the icon and see exactly who has asked for permissions, they do find that somebody, they're at least asking for a verification code, or for the ship's ID. And upon at least going to review the ship, you do have where they do see that it's Vacha's ship, or at least one that was under his command. As the yautja does go over some information with not only Aki, but it also does go to speak with Deku. And this is something the yautja does find interesting, since upon seeing the human, it's very clear that he's, well, certainly someone to have an interest in. And you do have where Deku does inform his people about how they're making an approach to the planet. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that's a good point to leave this off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.